Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, whatever, and wherever you may be listening to us. You have your ears locked into the Caps Locked and Chair Shots podcast, a special edition as we're back for one night only. My name is Everkeen. I'm your host for these festivities, and joining me as always, he is the muscle of the podcast, future MMA champion, and voice of all of Southeast Asia. He is the one, the only, the Jaime.
What's up, wrestling fans? FIFA World Cup, NBA Draft, Caps Locks, and Chair Shots.
And also joining me is my arch nemesis, my tag team partner, and my very best friend. You know him from all around the internet, but you can only find his wrestling stuff right here. He is the real Danny D, Daniel Dorant.
What's up, guys? Tonight's a good night for the NBA. There's some type of foot game going on. That's a World Cup. I'm not interested. The U.S. didn't make it.
All sarcasm aside, you are back with us here on the Caps Locks and Chair Shots podcast. We are back for a one-night-only special, as we're going to be doing this whenever we decide to do it. Our schedules are not coordinated very well at all in the last, 6 months, so we're back kind of whenever we feel like it. This show, we're going to talk about what happened at Money in the Bank, what happened at NXT Chicago TakeOver number 2. We're going to talk about the night after on Raw and SmackDown. A famous wrestler died. Is Impact watchable? Should CM Punk retire? And various other things we're going to get to all in the next hour, 2 hours, whatever we decide to go. So first things first, gentlemen. Money in the Bank was Sunday. Dan, give me a rating. 1 to 5. How many stars?
4.
Care to explain, or are we just going to let Jaime talk?
I think I sent you guys a message that this show actually made me want to do another show, like more before that we were planning on it, simply because it kept me intrigued the whole time. There were definitely some surprises, and I just thought overall it was probably one of the better WWE pay-per-views we've seen in a while, excluding Mania.
Okay, fair enough. Jaime, what'd you think?
Yeah, for me, I'm giving this year's Money in the Bank. I'm giving it a very low rating because it's not their best Money in the Bank in years. I'm giving it a 2.5.
Well, you're wrong.
That is pretty low. I personally have only seen highlights as my life has been hell. From what I saw, it had everything you want. It had the Daredevil spots. It had the oh my god spots in the matches. We saw a cash in. Even the undercard was pretty friggin' sweet. I'm more with Dan, maybe 3.75, maybe 4. So, alright. Let's start at the beginning of the card. Is it time for the WWE to move the SmackDown Tag Team titles off of the pre-show?
It depends on who's competing.
Okay.
It's so tough because they're doing these co-branded shows. Like, we didn't even get a Raw Tag Team match.
So what you're saying is there's too many titles?
I'm saying I think the co-branded pay-per-views are going to hurt more than they help.
We're gonna talk
True.
We're gonna talk about that just a little bit later on when we get to something that'll actually be the very last thing we talk about with the co-brandedness and the brand extensions. All right, let's start with the show in earnest. Daniel Bryan, Big Cass. What happened? Anybody got some inside information? Why was Big Cass released?
Well, it's based on what I saw on YouTube. Sources are Wrestle Talk and What Culture is that Big Cass had a ton of heat for the midget segment and other stuff like when they toured in Europe, and it's a ton of issues backstage that Big Cass had with management.
I forgot about the midget. What would you guys give that match? Was it? I personally didn't care for it myself, but what did you guys think, Dan?
That's one of the matches that was forgettable. I feel like any Daniel Bryan match is going to be a decent match, but that one was pretty forgettable.
Fair enough, Jaime. You agree there?
Yeah, that's pretty one-sided.
Okay, now, were you more disappointed in that match or in the Sami Zayn Bobby Lashley match?
That's another disappointment.
Definitely the Zayn Lashley match. I completely forgot that was on the show. The more we talk about this card, I have a feeling my star rating is going to go down.
I mean,
So I'm going to have you
2.5?
ask. I'm going to have you ask me again what my star rating is at the end of this show, just so as we talk through these matches, I can rethink this show.
well, I mean, to be fair, most WWE pay-per-views start out really, really strong and then peter out toward the end. This one kind of flip-flopped the script. You know, it was a wrestling show the way it's supposed to be, where it starts off kind of slow and then finishes strong. So that's why it was kind of a throwback for me, just with a lot more violence. Have you all happened to hear the news about Sami Zayn?
Apparently injured, correct?
2 rotator cuff surgeries are out for all of 2019.
All of 2019.
All?
Yeah, two torn rotator cuffs. That'll do it.
Breaking news to me, at least.
That's what Twitter's for, Dan. Anyway, let's move on. Rollins versus Elias for the Intercontinental Championship. Was this the best match on the card?
That was my best match off the card. I'm not sure about Dan.
Daniel?
Any Rollins match is going to be at least the top. Yes, that's the best match on the card for me. Honestly, the match that I was trying to decide between was the Women's Money in the Bank match. I really enjoyed that one too.
But you know what? That's a good point. Was it right to let Rollins keep the title here and not give it to Elias?
Yes.
You don't think it's time, for the WWE to let the Intercontinental Championship walk with Elias?
I think it was because of the events that transpired the night after, which we are going to talk about later. But Elias is a stud. He's a star. So he could shine without the title yet.
Okay. Since Dan
Where
brought...
does Rollins go?
I'm sorry?
Without that belt. Where does Rollins go without that belt?
Well, I mean, he's not... He has no chance against Lesnar. He has no chance against Braun. And barring...
That's what I mean. That's why I don't think Elias needed it.
See, I think they missed the boat here. I really do. But we're going to get to that here in a little bit. Alexa won Money in the Bank. Since you brought it up, Dan, let's talk about it. And it's the next match on the card. Now, who did you pick?
For that match?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I picked Alexa Bliss.
Uh-huh.
No, I was the one who picked her.
No, Jaime, that must have been when your Filipinian internet cut out. Pretty sure I picked her.
Yeah, it may have been, because Jaime was kind of all over the map on a show that we'll never see air. So we'll never really know, because I ain't playing it back, and neither you two recorded it. So that show technically never existed. Anyway, was she the right choice to win? Obviously, we know at the end of the night what happened happened, but was she the right choice to win this particular match, Jaime?
Because I predicted that exact thing to happen, yes. I predicted it in my mind.
Very well. Daniel, was she the right person to win?
She is always the right person to win.
Okay, now put your... How do I want to word this without being completely vulgar?
I think that...
Put your attraction to her aside.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was seeing the outcome of that, yes, and then when she climbed up there and won it, it was like, okay, this is a way to make her relevant. When she actually grabbed the briefcase, I was like, wow, the company loves this chick. She is going to be pushed for years to come.
Now, is she technically the first woman to win a Money in the Bank match, being that, Ellsworth did what he did?
No. No, you can say she technically is the first woman to win a Money in the Bank on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, but Carmella technically did win a Money in the Bank match.
No, Ellsworth won the Money in the Bank match.
No. And then they did it again the next night. They did it again on SmackDown 2 nights later, and Carmella won.
That doesn't count. It wasn't a real Money in the Bank match, though.
I just said that technically, if you want to say on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, yes, she is the first female to win.
Then don't bring up the SmackDown Abomination if you're trying to prove a point. That's opposite the point you're trying to make, Daniel.
You're opposite the point.
Yeah, good comeback. Anyway, let's move on. So Roman beat Jinder in a match that everybody saw taking place and everybody knew the winner. Jaime, did you even care about this match?
I like Roman, but I didn't care. I didn't care about it at all.
Judging by the crowd reaction, you weren't the only one. I know. I fast forward through it. Is Jinder's push over? Like, is he just done? You know, we saw him.
I surely hope so.
Okay. Dan, did you care about this match at all?
What match?
Exactly. Has the WWE kind of missed the boat with Jinder Mahal? What the hell is that, Jaime?
It's a bike pump.
What? Okay, answer my question. We got one guy half asleep and the other one trying to pump up something, and I really hope it's not his crotch. Anyway, did the WWE miss the boat with Jinder Mahal?
Well, not really.
Okay, why?
It didn't work the way they wanted them to.
What do you mean it didn't
Jinder
work?
just doesn't really have that factor in him.
Okay. I want to point something out here, and this goes back probably a year ago, when Jinder first started. When he first left 3MB and came back. Jaime, I'm sure you remember. What did Dan constantly say about Jinder Mahal?
Don't hinder the Jinder.
No. He's got gyno. He's on steroids. He's on steroids.
Yeah.
That's gyno. That's man boobs. And yet,
each and every week, Dan kept talking about Jinder's gyno.
Now, Jaime, I want to ask you this question. How many times has Jinder Mahal been suspended? In the last year. Exactly. And how many other wrestlers have been suspended?
He can take juice, and he has gyno.
Okay. So now it still happened, but you just can't prove that it happened, but it happened. Okay. All right, Dan. We appreciate your input on that. Okay. So Asuka lost. Has she fallen back to the ranks of just one of the other girls?
Nope, that was the best way to have her lose.
Jaime, agree or disagree?
Yes, she does. She lost her mystique the moment she tapped out to Charlotte Flair.
So
there wasn't even a struggle. She just tapped out.
So
that was it.
Is she like Natalya level, where she's still going to be on TV? It's just not going to be anything people want to watch. Is she more like a Becky Lynch type character, where people want to watch? She's just kind of not featured very often, or how we looking at this?
Well, at this point, it's salvageable. You know, see, they brought Asuka up as a babyface, but remember during the early parts, her title reign in NXT, way back before Nobody's Ready for Asuka wasn't a thing yet. Asuka was actually a heel, and she was an effective heel. But I'm just not sure what's going to happen if they turn her heel now, because the cockiness won't be there since she already has tons of losses. But it can be salvageable because she's an effective heel in terms of in-ring psychology.
Okay, fair enough. Now, Dan, I want to get your opinion on this. I'm going to ask you a question. We're going to play one of our favorite games from a long time ago. It's called Is It Racist? If we put a heel Asuka in a stable with a heel Shinsuke Nakamura, and we have them managed by either Mr. Fuji or Sonny Ono, is that racist?
Yes.
What if we call them like the Pearl Harbor Connection? Is that racist?
That might be a little extra racist.
Well, I mean, if you look at some of the old WrestleManias, every time somebody came from and attacked somebody from behind, Gorilla Monsoon, that's a Pearl Harbor job. Anytime an Asian wrestler did something bad, oh, he Pearl Harbored him. I mean, so we are going with that's racist then.
Yes, that's racist.
Yeah.
Okay, would it be racist if the New Day started a feud with the Singh brothers and Jinder Mahal, and instead of throwing pancakes at them, they threw falafels? Is that racist?
No, that's just funny.
That's funny.
Okay. See, these questions need to be asked by WWE creators to avoid incidences from happening. Okay, how about this one? If in storyline it was brought forward that Eric Young and Nikki Cross had a sexual relationship, and then let's say a month from then, as this relationship has blossomed, they find out they're cousins, and then they both start being billed from West Virginia. Is that racist?
No, that doesn't have anything to do with race.
So white people aren't a race?
You said that it's...
That's racist, Daniel.
West Virginia.
That's racist against your own kind, sir.
I'm not racist. I hate everyone equally.
Well, I'm just saying, like, West Virginia is predominantly white. It's known for its cousin loving, and now we're putting cousin loving on two white people. I'm just saying.
Hey, Ed, I got a question. Aren't you from West Virginia?
No. I'm from Southern Illinois, and I live in Ohio. Granted, West Virginia is 2 minutes from my house, but I live in Ohio.
So you visit West Virginia often, Ed?
Frequently.
You got some family there?
My son was born there. Anyway, I'm watching Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix, I believe. They just beat OVE in the main event of tonight's Impact. That's going to lead us to a question later on in the show. Just wanted to point that out there since we mentioned the state of Ohio. Let's move on.
Also point out everybody's favorite college basketball player got drafted by the Utah Jazz.
And that is...
I want you to take one guess at who everybody's favorite basketball player is. That's a sarcasm statement.
Johnny Manziel?
Grayson Allen.
Oh, he went to Utah?
Yeah.
Huh. Don't know how I feel about that. Anyway, let's move on. Back to Asuka. She lost thanks to a returning James Ellsworth. How long until the caller returns?
I don't know.
Does it return? At any point will we see James Ellsworth in a doggy cage?
I hope not. That's just weird.
Jaime, thoughts?
I have a good idea for James Ellsworth. Because the caller won't return. But right now he's with Carmella because Carmella has the belt. But can we see him cheat on Carmella for not one, but two? A duo, if I may ask?
Don't know quite what you mean.
Seriously, Ed?
Oh, gosh, I am so dumb.
No one's going to argue that.
Oh, would that make James Ellsworth the luckiest man alive? To go from Carmella, who, let's be honest, if you go past her nose, is a dime, to the iconic duo, which, if they shut their mouths, are a quarter combined.
Hey.
I'm just saying they're getting annoying.
Hey.
Just saying.
You watch it, bud.
Just saying.
You watch it.
Let's one more question.
Let's move on.
Well, we can't because I got one more question. Before Ellsworth left, Becky Lynch openly challenged him to a match. Given what happened on SmackDown, how long until we see Asuka destroy James Ellsworth in a match?
Next week.
Yeah. Anytime soon.
Simple answer. I like it. Let's move on. Now we can move on. All right. AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura. Is this getting old for anybody else but me?
Yeah, I didn't think that this would get old, but man, they know how to do that, don't they?
It's killed everything. It was such a great idea. And it has so died. Jaime, how do you feel about it?
I'm just glad it's over.
That's
Enough said.
that's fair. Now, given that we have seen possibly a blow-off match at one of the biggest, if not one of the 4 biggest shows of the year, this is over, right? We're done with it? That we all can move on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fair enough.
I'd like to see AJ Styles feud with you guys.
Well, we just may see that. And we found out that on SmackDown. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. But first, we have the Women's Championship match. Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax, the irresistible force, the immovable object. And it ended in a disqualification. Where we, as fans... Okay, that answers my... I was going to ask if we were cheated. But, okay, so Dan loved it. Jaime, how'd you feel about it?
Can't help but, being off for Ronda Rousey. Because at first, that I wasn't really a fan because she hasn't paid her dues. But with how she's performing...
Hold on. She hasn't paid her what?
She hasn't paid her dues in the wrestling.
Hasn't paid her what?
Her juice.
Her juice. Is that like Tropicana? Is that orange? Dan can't even hear me say any of this. Go on, Jaime. I'm sorry. She hasn't paid her dues?
Your dues?
You just missed it. She hasn't... Yeah, apparently, according to Jaime, she hasn't paid her juice. So I was wondering if that was like orange juice or apple juice or whatever. But we get...
Jaime insinuating that Ronda Rousey's on steroids?
Was that the joke you were going for? Because I was making fun of your accent. Okay.
I don't think Jaime knows what he was going for.
Yeah, that's not uncommon. All right. Were y'all happy to see the cash in?
Absolutely.
I see it, Dan. Thank you. Jaime, were you happy to see it?
Definitely. It's proven my prediction correct.
What prediction? I don't remember doing a prediction. Do you remember doing a prediction on the show, Dan? Because I don't remember. Anyway.
I did a prediction on my mind that Alexa Bliss wins the Money in the Bank and cashes it in either the same night or the next night.
Well,
I don't remember that.
He may have done that for the website, that he runs or something. I don't know. We're, the one we're supposed to be writing for that neither of us really do. Anyway, let's move on. Where are we at? Was Braun the right choice to win the Money in the Bank?
No.
For the men? Jaime says no. Daniel?
Jaime's drunk.
Fair enough. Jaime, tell me why you say no.
What's Braun Strowman got to do? Like, he's terrible in the ring. He has one catchphrase. It's gotten him over. He's the most overpushed superstar in WWE history.
Okay, now you're just trolling. You have to be trolling. Dan, are you hearing this garbage?
I actually stopped listening because I got a breaking news alert.
And what's the breaking news alert?
Caution, spoiler, skip ahead 10 seconds, starting in 3, 2, 1. Undisputed Era won the titles back at the NXT tapings tonight.
Why did you even say that? Like, what was the point? What was the point of breaking that on here right now? Like, why?
Dude, we're the leading provider in breaking news.
This show's probably not going to go online for a week. Maybe 2.
Dude, I'm here to provide the content, okay? I'm a content creator.
Okay, why was Braun Strowman a good idea? Content creator.
Because now he can just, basically, he can give Lesnar fear. You never know when he's going to cash in, right? And we've never seen the Beast Incarnate scared.
Okay. Dan, you're wrong.
And you're not going to tell me why, because I'm right.
Just listen. You're wrong, and Jaime, you're right but for the very wrong reason. Braun Strowman was the wrong choice to win this because Braun Strowman didn't need to win this. You look at who the next challenger for Brock Lesnar is going to be. It's probably going to be Strowman anyway. So what point is it to give Strowman a one-time super surprise cash-in opportunity when Lesnar's never going to be around to cash in on anyway? Part of the mystique that makes the Money in the Bank contract so amazing is the fact that on any given Raw, on any given SmackDown, on any show, that contract can be cashed in. But if Lesnar's never at the shows, now it's only going to happen at a pay-per-view, when Braun should have been the next challenger at the next pay-per-view anyway. So they gave him a thing that is now worthless. Because what are they going to do? Oh, hey, Brock Lesnar needs another partner for a match. Well, it can't be Braun, so let's feed him to Dean Ambrose, because that's a believable match. Let's feed him. Hey, oh, no, wait, Samoa Joe's on SmackDown. How about Dolph Ziggler? Nope. How about no, can't be The Miz. So who's left? Who's legitimately left? Can't be Bray Wyatt. Can't be Matt Hardy. So who's left? Who's left to be Brock Lesnar's... I'm sorry?
Roman Reigns.
Because that won't get booed out of the building. Can't be
Here's
Roman.
the thing. That's why I think Braun Strowman doesn't deserve it. It's because why does Roman Reigns get booed for his push that he worked so hard for? How about Braun Strowman? This guy came out of nowhere. I didn't see him in NXT. I didn't see him in FCW.
To be fair, he was a rosebud. He was a rosebud. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And honestly, I think the reason that Roman gets booed is because he's family with The Rock, and they see nepotism there. I know how stupid that sounds, but there's got to be a reason that he is booed and Braun isn't, and it could just be nepotism. But I could be wrong on there. Let's move directly into Raw, because why not? Raw opened with... I'm sorry, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about NXT. And since Dan wanted to, give us a spoiler alert, let's talk about the Undisputed Era. Are they the best stable in the WWE?
Yes.
Jaime, agree, disagree?
They're my favorite stable in the WWE right now, so I have no other choice.
Wasn't the question if they were your favorite. It was, are they the best?
Yes.
Okay.
Performance-wise, character-wise, they just have it all.
Okay, fair enough. How about in wrestling?
Like the whole time?
Sure. Are they the best stable in professional wrestling? Basically, what I'm asking is, are they better than the Young Bucks? Are they better than the Bullet Club?
No.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Ricochet, Velveteen Dream. How fantastic was that match?
7 out of 5 stars.
Wow, we're going with the Meltzer Okada equation, huh? Fair enough.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that just to trigger some people.
Trigger people. Can't believe
I do think that match is probably match of the year contender for any promotion.
Was it Dream?
That by far was one of the best matches I think I would ever see.
Which was better? Dream's match with Ricochet or Dream's match with Aleister Black?
Ricochet.
Really? Jaime,
Yes.
Agree or disagree?
It's hard to tell. But I'm going with Aleister Black.
Okay.
I just want to disagree with Dan.
Fair enough. Hey, at least we got an answer out of Jaime, not, well, not sure. Yeah. So
But he started that off with hard to tell. So did we actually get an answer?
well, he did wind up giving us an answer, so I'm gonna give him that one. So, all right,
We've been doing the show for over a year now, and he still doesn't know how to give straight answers.
Shayna Baszler. Is she gonna be the next Asuka and just run roughshod over NXT forever?
No. Nikki Cross is getting that belt.
Didn't Nikki Cross get called up with Sanity?
No.
Not yet, but she's on her way, I feel.
I don't think so.
I think that's a misstep. I really think that's a misstep. If you're gonna call up the group, you need to call up the whole group. And
yeah, I mean, because they did that with Cass, Enzo, and Carmella, right?
yeah, and I think Nikki Cross is more polished than what Carmelo was.
Carmella didn't get caught up when the other two got caught up. She stayed down.
Well, it shows how much I know. And I'm supposed to run this show. Huh.
No, she didn't stay down in NXT. They were prepping her for another storyline.
She did stay in NXT. She didn't get caught up until the draft.
But she didn't appear in any TV tapings. So that's not it. Who did she feud with after Enzo and Cass were called up?
Dude, I don't remember. This was years ago, but she was on TV.
Oh, so I may not be wrong, and Dan may be the one wrong. Jaime,
oh my God.
before the next show, you got to research this. No. We have a show to do, Daniel. And the next question is for you. Aleister Black. How long until he gets to call up to the main roster? Because we predicted it. We predicted it for 6 months. That he was going to come up at the next pay-per-view. The brand extension, whatever. How long until he gets called up?
SummerSlam. I mean, they don't have anything to do with him right now. I don't want them to call him up.
You said they don't have anything to do with him. Does that mean you're not looking at him maybe feuding with EC3? Maybe...
No. I mean, they wouldn't have anything to do with him on the main roster.
I actually have a theory about that. I'm going to hold off onto it for right now. Jaime, SummerSlam, is that the right time to call up Black?
No, because I'm kind of thinking that they're grooming him, although he already got pinned, but it wasn't a singles match. I'm predicting that he's gonna be like a bootleg of Asuka's title reign.
Okay. Fair enough. Now, I'm gonna pose a theory, actually 2 of them, that I know you guys are gonna love the first one, and I'm not sure if how much you guys will like the second one. The very next feud for Aleister Black will be none other than the newest member of the NXT roster, Keith Lee.
Nope. Not happening.
Oh, well.
Keith Lee's going to be EC3's bodyguard. As good as he is in the indies, I could already sense it. He's going to be somebody's bodyguard.
Jaime, you are so lucky we are not on Skype anymore, because I literally would have hung up on you after that sentence. My mouse is over your name looking for the hang up button.
Dude,
because that is the worst possible wrestling analysis I've ever heard come out of your mouth.
Hey, dude.
It might be the worst possible wrestling analysis that I've ever heard on this show, and Ed is on this show.
I'm impressed with his talents, but that was the indies. I'm looking at things the WWE way. So, that's what's going to happen. Deal with it.
And the WWE loves big men.
Mm-hmm.
Lars Sullivan.
Right.
Brock Lesnar.
Uh-huh.
Braun Strowman.
Mm-hmm.
The Undertaker.
Uh-huh.
All built exactly like Keith Lee, and Keith Lee can wrestle any of them out of a building.
Okay. Now, just to play devil's advocate here, and to bring up another subject I should never talk about. Remember the last time we had a debate like this? And we didn't have it, but there was a debate like this about somebody in developmental, big, strong, can wrestle with anybody, and an African American. You remember what happened to him?
No, I don't know who you're talking about.
Big E Langston became the bodyguard to Dolph Ziggler. Just to play devil's advocate with Jaime's point, you have Ethan Carter III, whose whole thing is being about the top 1% of society. So it would make sense that he would have a Virgil-esque character to his $1 Million Man and have Keith Lee as a bodyguard.
Because Keith Lee can now wrestle EC3.
When it splits up, yep, that's exactly what's going to happen.
And everywhere in wrestling, there's always a history. No racism here. Everywhere in wrestling, there's always a history of big African Americans becoming bodyguards for someone.
Especially a smarmy white heel that uses his money to his advantage the way EC3 would. Now, let me stretch out this booking a little bit further. If you want to take and say Aleister Black is going to, get called up after SummerSlam, he has to drop the NXT title. Why not drop it to Ethan Carter III and Keith Lee, who's his bodyguard? Black gets called up. Black's now on the main roster. EC3 and Keith Lee do their thing for, let's say, 4, 5, 6 months. Lee turns on Ethan Carter III. Those two have a match at a TakeOver before, let's say, Mania. Say it goes 6 months. Lee stays down. He's the new champion. Ethan Carter III debuts the night after Raw. The story, or the timeline makes sense in that storyline. But I could be wrong.
That will be a good idea. Where Ethan's holding the belt, Keith Lee's in the background, but he's starting to shine. He's starting to outshine his master, his boss. That happened with Moose and Mike Bennett.
Oh, we're going with what reference is that? Are we going? That's not an Impact thing, is it? That's like an indie thing, right?
Yeah, the typical sidekick, the bodyguard outshines his boss.
That happens normally, but it didn't happen with Big E. It didn't happen with Virgil. It didn't happen with.
Well, that's the thing. Keith Lee is talented enough to shine on his own right, but he's not going to start the way Dan sees him to start. He's going to start as somebody's bodyguard.
That's okay. All right. Now, my second thing that I was going to bring up was the fact that we still have The Undertaker wrestling at WrestleManias. And he's probably going to have another match this year at WrestleMania. So, we need somebody to retire The Undertaker. Send him once and for all. Duke doesn't have too many more matches in him. The Undertaker's character has been very dark, almost demonic, using iconography affiliated with a satanic culture, much the same way Aleister Black has been accused of doing. So, perhaps, Aleister Black fully steps into The Undertaker's role by retiring The Undertaker. Daniel, am I off base with that?
No, that's not a bad idea.
Jaime, you agree?
I agree. I agree with you. That's how I see it, because you need that occult, that creepy, the scary guy who's a man of few words and comes from the darkness. That's Aleister Black.
Fair enough. All right. Apparently Dan's dogs agreed with us too, so that's a plus. All right, let's go one more about NXT TakeOver Chicago 2. Johnny Gargano and how do you say the guy's last name? Tommaso Ciampa?
Ciampa.
Okay. Is that feud over?
No, there's one more.
Are you guys okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. How would you rate overall, since we just talked about the card, NXT, that pay-per-view? Give me a rating. Anybody?
NXT never goes down 4 stars in my... NXT pay-per-views never go down 4 stars in my personal rating. I'm giving it a 5.
Daniel?
4.
So you're saying that Money in the Bank and NXT were equal?
No, Money in the Bank's definitely like a 3-star.
So it did drop a star after we discussed it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The reason why NXT is not 5-star for me is the women's match.
Okay. All right. We spent the last I don't know, 40 minutes talking about just the wrestling pay-per-views from this past weekend. So let's break it up. Because, monotony is a terrible thing. So let's talk about some other stuff. Um, Obviously, in the last 24 hours, 48 hours, the wrestling world was shook by the loss of Big Van Vader. Apparently, he died of heart ailment Monday or Tuesday night. So, any of you guys got a few words to say about Vader?
It's time. It's time. It's Vader time.
If you're gonna do it, you got to do it right, man. That's something you can't say
Nah,
solemnly.
man, it's like when you bring him up, like he's a, he's a little bit before like my childhood in wrestling, but he's definitely iconic to a point. Like he's someone that really opened the door for not well in shape wrestlers.
That
Um,
I'll give you that.
yeah, as far as that aspect of it, he did. I don't want to say he changed the business, but he definitely was one of those people that helped
Inspired.
change the
Okay.
business.
Jaime, you get
Rest in peace.
fair enough. Jaime, you got anything to say?
Dan already said most of it, so I'll just say that the Lord has said, Vader, it's your time.
I like that better. But one thing that I think a lot of people failed to pass on was Vader was not that easy to work with. If you look at some of the stuff on Twitter that has come out, not necessarily in the last 3 days, but in the last while, Vader was not an easy man to get along with. But Vader also, by sticking his thumb into the stomach wound of Sid Vicious in England, saved his life. Vader did a lot for the super heavyweights as far as I think he was the first guy to ever come off a rope, let alone the top rope, as one of the really huge guys. Without Vader, Mankind never gets his mask. Vader's mask was inspired by Mankind. He was one of the first guys that not only other wrestlers were scared of, not just, kayfabe or not, but the fans were legitimately scared of. And he was he had one of the greatest guest spots in Boy Meets World and in Baywatch. He wasn't afraid to laugh at himself, but he was the epitome of a big professional wrestler. And you see a lot of these tributes on social media and everything else, and they are entirely warranted. Vader
Hey,
was a legend.
sorry to cut you off, but I have a question to ask you.
Sure.
Is Vader the one who went on a talk show and the talk show host called it fake and he threatened to kill him?
No. I mean, it may have been. There's really been three major, um, major encounters with somebody calling it fake. John Stossel got his ears boxed when he went backstage, and I want to say it wasn't Dr. Death, but it was somebody else.
Wasn't that one?
Steve Williams or something like that. And then you guys watch Law and Order SVU, right? Know who Detective Munch is?
Yeah.
He used to have a talk show on the Lifetime Network in 1985. It lasted one season called Hot Properties, and Hulk Hogan and Mr. T were on there, and he basically got choked out by Hulk Hogan. And Hogan just pretty much dropped him like a sack of potatoes on the talk show floor and knocked him out, cut him open. It was a big deal. It's actually, the story is covered in my book called, and that is pretty cool. You can find that on Amazon in both print and ebook. So check that out. Check the whole story out about how Hulk Hogan choked out Detective Munch in 1985. Does that answer your question, Daniel? I'll take your
No,
silence.
okay. So it was Vader. It was Vader, I believe. Um, it was Vader and Undertaker were on a show.
Does it list the name of the show?
Hold on 1 second. The only way I'm going to be able to do that is if I actually pull up the YouTube clip.
All right, I'll tell you what.
But
go ahead and pull up the YouTube clip. Put yourself on mute. We'll come back to you. All right. Now, I said during the show that I was watching Impact, and I watched the main event for Impact, OBE, and two of the guys that have come over into the Impact roster. Jaime, I want to ask you this because I think you're the only other person in the world that watches Impact. Has it become more watchable as of late?
Performance-wise, yes, but storylines, they're still kind of getting there, especially when they are losing talent. They just lost one of their best talents. Not sure about his situation, if he's going to sign again or he's going.
You're talking about Eli
another
Drake.
promotion? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do have a working relationship with Lucha Underground. Their format has been tweaked, and I'm personally not a fan of. They're showing a classic match every show. They're going to a tape match every show, so really they're only showing about 2 to 3 new pieces of content. And those 2 or 3 new pieces of content feature stuff as ridiculous as KM trying to teach Fallah Bah how to be a ladies' man. And then Fallah Bah reading a note he wrote in broken English. Or actually, he gave to KM, and KM read the note in broken English. And pretended like he didn't understand what was going on. Stuff like that makes air. Stuff like Joseph Park and Grado makes air. And yet, we have no idea what's going on with half of the stuff. We haven't seen Austin Aries in months. But that's Impact for you. It's getting better, but it's still a little ways off. Dan, you got something for us?
So the show there, it was not a U.S. show. It was based in Kuwait. And I sent you guys the clip so you can watch it when we're done.
It was a Kuwaiti talk show.
Yeah, I mean, they were speaking English, but it was based in Kuwait. The text and everything that was on the screen was not American.
Okay, so fill us in. He knocked the guy out?
No. He threatened to hit him and basically threatens his life. It's hilarious. I remember watching this clip before.
Oh, very well. Well, maybe it'll be in my next book, and that is pretty cool, Volume 2. We'll see. That one is currently under production. Let's move on. Let's talk more about wrestling. We'll get to the other questions here in a minute. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw, the night after Money in the Bank. Ronda Rousey got suspended because of reasons. Was this a good move, Jaime?
I just here you can't get a straight answer out of me because I'm still confused. So I'll just go with no because where's the WWE going with this suspension? Does Ronda return a stronger person? Does she need time off to do some movies or does she have a UFC fight again? I'm not sure where this is going.
From what I gathered, she's done with the UFC. I don't think she has anything coming up. Dan, have you heard anything? Like, what's the story behind the suspension?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a way to get her off TV for a minute. Maybe they just don't have anything to do with her, and they're waiting till Survivor Series, SummerSlam.
They don't have anything to do with her. She just was in a title match at a major pay-per-view.
I'm just as confused as you guys are. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, why suspend her? It doesn't make any damn... Jesus. Okay. I mean, that was a hell of a way to start, Raw after that because it confused everybody. But we did see something kind of pull Raw out of the fire and made me want to stay up till 11 o'clock to watch it. Dolph Ziggler is our new Intercontinental Champion. How do we feel about that, guys?
I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world.
Come on! Bring it on. Okay. Dan, I take it that's a good thing then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always okay when Dolph Ziggler wins something.
Okay. Jaime, good deal? Bad deal? And does Does this
It's a
free
good
up...
deal.
Okay, all right, gotcha. It's a good deal. Does this free up Seth Rollins for Brock Lesnar?
No, because what I see for Seth Rollins is he's going to feud with somebody returning soon. Somebody that would accuse him of, turning his back on this guy, this injured guy, for
But
another guy that got injured.
would this injured guy perhaps be a little unhinged?
Unstable.
Yeah, same thing. Interesting. Daniel, is he going to Brock Lesnar?
No, I just think that this is going to be another feud. I don't know. Like, there's not enough belts for these top talents.
Well, this could be my fantasy booking here, but maybe, maybe, Seth Rollins is the next one to go to Brock Lesnar. That's when Braun cashes in. Lesnar goes bye-bye. And now Braun is free to conquer Raw, and eventually leads to Rollins taking him over, being the whatever name they call him now, the Kingslayer or something like that. So I don't know, but that's just what I think. I mean, I think it could work. Was that bad, Daniel? Dan?
No.
No? All right, fair enough. Let's see what else we got. How long until Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler go after one another? And they start a feud.
It's coming soon.
Yeah? Daniel?
At the very beginning, I knew that this is not going to last.
Dan, agree? No?
Undecided. I know that's riveting podcast, but it's. I don't know where they're going to go. Like, it's really like. I need 2 minutes.
That's fine. But I'm actually going to use what you said in the segue. Speaking of stuff you don't know where they're going to go, and I think I actually know where they're going to go, and bad stuff to watch on television, that brings us to Jaime's man crush, Constable Corbin. This is just god-awful, right? I mean, Jaime, I know you love Corbin and everything, but you gotta admit, this is terrible, right?
I agree, and let me tell you why.
Nice.
I see when Corbin got called up to the main roster, I saw him carving a path of destruction, similar to how Kane went from being unmasked and being unstoppable when he was unmasked to what he is now, Corporate Kane. But now, Corbin just turned from Mr. Money in the Bank to Corporate Kane real quick.
Okay. Daniel, how do you feel about Constable Corbin?
They should give him the big cash treatment if they can't figure out something to do with it.
The big cash treatment or the big Cass treatment?
Big Cass. Cass.
Fair enough. Now, this is where I am thinking this leads to. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm going to say maybe, I don't think this lasts all the way to WrestleMania, so probably SummerSlam. Kurt Angle versus Constable Corbin for control of Monday Night Raw. Is this a match you guys would watch?
Or I'll not answer that question, but I'll do you one better.
Okay.
Why not let it move into Survivor Series where Team Angle versus Team Corbin fight for who controls Monday Night Raw?
Because I have plans for Survivor Series. They're going to make Dan's head explode. But I have plans for Survivor Series. Daniel, Constable Corbin, Kurt Angle. Control of Raw, SummerSlam. Good match? Or will you turn it off?
A Survivor Series, so they have teams? They're the captains?
No.
Because that's not happening, because you know it's Red Brand versus Blue Brand again.
Well, here's my theory on that. Okay? and I was going to save this for a later show, but why not? You see, if you look at the rosters, particularly the main roster, there is an awful lot of talent on that roster from a certain company that used to be Blue. And if you look at NXT, there's an awful lot of talent on that roster, along with the stuff on the main roster, from companies that are much, much smaller. So you can look at teams that could be made of 3 distinct different areas of the wrestling industry. You could have Triple H, Randy Orton, John Cena, let's say Dolph Ziggler, and just for kicks, The Miz, for Team WWE. You can put AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe, Eric Young, and Ethan Carter III on a team action, let's call it that. And then you could have guys like Tyler Black, Kevin Steen, Prince Devitt, El Generico. Well, it can't be El Generico now, but maybe a guy like Ricochet and an Adam Cole be on the free agent team. Let's call them that. So we don't use the word independence. So now you have 3 teams.
Guerrilla.
Sure. Why not? Fair enough. So you have 3 teams in a traditional Survivor Series match. Winner take all, winning team. Each member gets to challenge for a title of their choice. I would watch that match. Would you watch that match, Jaime?
I would watch that, man. That's interesting.
Daniel,
I would watch that.
Would you watch that match?
Are you guys just trying to trigger me tonight?
Would you watch it? Simple question.
That was it. I'm not answering your question until you answer mine.
Okay.
You guys just trying to trigger me tonight?
It has been a while since we heard you just go off on one of us. So, not intentionally, but I answered your question. Answer mine. Would you watch that match?
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to hear. All right. Let's talk about SmackDown.
Fuck off.
Hey, that's not nice. Oh, wait. We got some more Raw stuff before we move on. Bayley and Sasha, are they finally split up for good? Is this a feud that is way too late in the making?
Yep.
This should have happened last year, right?
Yep.
Jaime, agree? This is way too late?
Check.
Okay. I assume he said check, meaning yes. So, let's move on. How about the B team? Was I the only one that loved the B team on Raw? I thought that was the best. I'm going to say it. It was the best segment of the show. With them impersonating Hardy and Wyatt, and the resemblance that Dallas and Wyatt, I know they're brothers, but they had. That was fantastic, was it not?
It was awesome.
That was awesome, because here's the thing about the B team. They are really 2 talented individuals, 2 talented singles performers put together.
Isn't that what every tag team is, though? Like, nowadays? You don't have people that grow up as straight tag team performers. Everybody is great individual wrestlers that become tag team guys. So, I mean, that's just about everybody. But, yeah, I get what you're saying. But it was good, right? It was good?
It was good. I'm a fan of everything about the B team. Ever since they broke. Actually, I was already a fan Mr. Roach days, but now that they're the B team, I'm more than just a fan right now of those 2 studs.
Daniel, you a fan? Are you a B teamer?
I'm a fan, but did he say he fat?
Yeah, English is not Jaime's first language, so we got to cut him a little bit of slack.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I heard that right.
All right. God, we're assholes to Jaime. We apologize, dude.
He apologizes.
Let's move on to SmackDown before we get to the end of the show, shall we? Because we're pushing an hour as it is.
We're over an hour.
Not quite. Remember, I'm the one recording this, not you. Rusev, finally, #1 contender. He's gonna get his title shot. Is this because of Aiden English?
Don't get yourself over, kid.
Is this because of Aiden English?
Rusev Day.
You know, I really love it when I ask a question and it takes me 2 minutes to get a yes or no, a one-word answer from either of you because Jaime is
I
often
just answered your question by singing. Yes.
Jaime is
Yes.
often internet hell, probably not even hearing every third syllable we say, and Daniel is just a giant male sex organ. Jaime, yes or no? Is this because of Aiden English?
I'm a
It,
left ball,
it is
everyone.
because of Aiden English. Without Aiden English, there's no Rusev Day. Rusev is that. Don't get me wrong, Rusev is talented on his own, but without Aiden Rusev Day, he's not going to get as over as he is now.
Fair enough. Were y'all happy with how the gauntlet match went down? Daniel Bryan being the Superman, The Miz just eliminating him the way he did, and everything kind of working out the way it did. Y'all were happy with that, yeah? No?
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I'm happy with everything The Miz does.
Including Maurice, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Jeff Hardy seems to be starting a feud with Shinsuke Nakamura. Who else is excited for the nonsense those promos are going to be?
Oh, I absolutely love it.
Because you're not going to be able to understand what Nakamura says, and you're not going to be able to understand what Jeff Hardy means. Because it looks like he's going to bring back Willow or whatever he was called before while he was
That's
high.
where I was going.
I mean,
No, that's not Willow. That's the charismatic Enigma.
it's
What it looks like.
literally the same thing. Literally
it's
the
not.
exact same thing. Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Willow's a little bit more like this.
It's exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. But are y'all excited for that? I mean, the matches should be pretty good, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait for the reunion.
The reunion.
Brother Nero, I knew you, scum.
I would watch wrestling every second for the rest of my life if I never saw the Hardy compound, those snot-nosed little kids, the white streak in Matt Hardy's hair, or if he just spoke like a normal human being for the rest of his life. I would be happy. I would literally watch wrestling every second I was awake. But no, that can't happen because good things get ruined. Matt Hardy got ruined.
You just earned yourself some sleepless nights on your phone notifications whenever the Hardys troll you on Twitter.
They'd have to listen to this first. All four of you that listen to this show were greatly appreciative. All right. Is Sanity the next logical challengers for the Bludgeon Brothers? Like they're the only ones on the SmackDown roster that can do it, right?
Yes,
Killian
definitely.
Dane.
What's that?
Killian Dane.
You think he's enough? And who does he team with?
Freebird rules.
Oh. How about, okay, so once, Sanity beats the Bludgeon Brothers, they obviously got a feud with New Day, right? So,
Sanity and the New Day.
I mean, after they beat the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yes.
So, alright, let's go there. How many pancakes does Killian Dane eat off the floor during that feud?
Killian Dane eats about a trash bag full that Kevin Owens carries.
Ah, I see. That could be an interesting dynamic right there. All right, that's going to wrap everything up for all of our, that kind of wrestling content. Let's talk about a few other questions before I can finally press stop on this and Dan can go to bed. Okay? AJ Styles got named to the cover of WWE 2K19. Is he the right choice?
I think it's a phenomenal choice.
Very nice. Jaime? Is it the right choice?
Second dance motion.
Okay. And I love the pick, but I can tell you who's going to make it for 2020. And I can tell you, Dan, I'm going to rip you off a little bit here. whoever does make it on WWE 2K20, that cover is going to be glorious. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Bobby Roode 2020. I'm going to make it happen.
So, Ed, before you wrap this show up, I have a question I want to throw to you guys.
Well, we haven't quite got there yet, but okay.
I was just letting you know so you don't go into the closing segment.
Well, ask your question then.
What is your thoughts on specifically Velveteen Dream? Do you agree with your favorite wrestler, John Cena, that he's it? He's the next guy? He's the one?
Jaime, do you want to answer this first?
Well, it's John Cena's words, so by virtue of bias, yes, but here's my explanation. The WWE is, right now, the WWE's current stage is ready for a Velveteen Dream type of character to become a top star in the company. Imagine he's not even 21 and he's earned the praise of the greatest of all time. So,
Okay.
future's big for the Dream.
There's a few things to take away from what he just said. He called John Cena the greatest of all time. Arguably yes, but no. Is the WWE ready for him? I don't think so, especially given where the WWE is going next year. But you look at the Velveteen Dream, and he is a mixture of Goldust with the way his character is, Bobby Roode with his appearance, and obviously, the tights help with that comparison, Kofi Kingston's athleticism, and pound for pound, some of the strength that even John Cena has. He is as close to a complete package as there is. He knows how to play his character and play it well. And that is something that is very rare today, to find a wrestler that molds with their character so perfectly that it seems like they are an extension of the character and vice versa. I think he may be a little too early. I think he's going to have to spend a little bit more time down in NXT. I'd love to see him feud with Aleister Black again, but I think that ship may have sailed. But it's not out of the realm of possibility to see somebody like EC3 and Dream be in the main event at NXT takeovers for the next 6 months until Dream has finally cemented himself as the top star in NXT and will get called up. The thing I fear for the Velveteen Dream is to wind up being that Goldust-esque character where, hey, this guy's really hot, and he's really talented, he has, quote-unquote, the look. And then he's relegated to a mid-card title, and then losing that mid-card title in nefarious ways and becomes a running joke. You look at another guy that had one of those weird personas, in Adam Rose, who came in super hot. And look where Adam Rose is. Can anybody tell me where Adam Rose is? I don't think he's with the WWE anymore. Fandango. Hell of a wrestler. Very talented. Had the look. And became a dancer. And now he's a part of a comedic shtick. And won't even smell gold anytime soon.
So, one thing that I don't think that Velveteen Dream would allow himself to fall to that. I get what you're saying, because it's a very risque character. But if you watch him on Tough Enough from the season that he was in, which you can watch that on the WWE Network for only $9.99 per month.
And as always, for new subscribers, the first month's free.
If you watch him on that show, I don't think he would allow himself to fall into that type of character. I think he would get himself released because he knows, as much as he talks about hating the indie, which I truly do believe that, he knows that he's good enough to make it from a wrestling standpoint.
Right. But you got to remember, the WWE has lawyers that can do just about anything. And they have written those contracts in such a way that you can't just ask for your release and get it. If the WWE really wanted to push the issue, they could do so much damage to his career if he decided to, quote-unquote, act a fool and get himself released.
No. I don't mean by him doing something outrageous or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, I think he would leave the company. Like, I don't think he would allow himself to be relegated to that type of role.
So just up and quit.
What's that?
What's it?
Just up and quit then.
I mean, no, because Neville tried that, and, well, we see how that's going for him. I'm saying he plays out his contract and then leaves at the end of it. Or maybe he leaves a la Cody Rhodes and does ask for his release and waits out his 90 days no-compete clause and stuff like that, because we've seen that done too.
Let's just put it this way. If there's a wrestler that he should, or they should mold him into eventually as time comes, that should be in the mold of Chris Jericho.
Well, yeah, everybody should be in the mold of Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is perhaps the best professional wrestler, and if you put aside titles and everything else, he is one of the best professional wrestlers of all time because of the way he reinvented himself and the way his moveset constantly changed and he was kept fresh and everything else. He is the shining example of what you should be in this industry. But nobody else has been or ever will be Chris Jericho. It's just that simple. Nobody's going to be another Chris Jericho.
Not everyone can transform into this mold, but Velveteen is in the Chris Jericho mold.
Yeah, everybody fits in the Chris Jericho mold. It's just a matter of, do they have enough mass to spread out and properly fill that mold? I don't think Dream does, because nobody does. There's only one Chris Jericho, and there's only going to be one Chris Jericho. And that's just the way it is. And that is a fact of life.
And do you guys know where Velveteen Dream trained?
Manhasset, New York?
No.
Oh, I tried.
Why would I ask
Orlando, Florida.
Why would I ask you that question then?
Was it Calgary?
No.
Orlando, Florida.
No.
Yes.
That is not
Orlando,
where he
Florida.
started. That is not where he started.
Then where did he start?
He started right here in Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, who cares? Name one
He
good.
started at a very similar school.
Name one good thing that started in Baltimore, Maryland.
Leo Rush, Velveteen Dream.
I said one good thing.
The Star Spangled Banner.
Great.
Negative on the Star Spangled Banner, by the way.
Oh, really? Where was it written?
Definitely about Fort Sumter.
Oh, are you sure it wasn't written underneath the Francis Scott Key Bridge?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Oh, okay. You should probably fact check that.
It was written about the siege of Fort Sumter. Yeah. Because he was talking about the British coming in and attacking that fort. Maybe you should fact check your stuff before assuming that our nation's, anthem was written under a bridge that has the guy's name on it. Look it up, fool. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. Speaking of things that are wrong, and let's get back on topic. And by the way, you should have gone with, Cal Ripken's streak for one, as things that started good in Baltimore. Let's talk about things that should stop. Like CM Punk's mixed martial arts career. He got beat again in the UFC.
Wrong.
What?
You're wrong.
He got beat.
Oh, no. I'm talking about the national. I'm talking about the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
All right, talk about CM Punk. Should he quit? Should he go back to wrestling?
He's done. Should he go back to wrestling? I don't know. That's for him to decide. But his career in the UFC is done. Dana White's openly said that. Him and the guy. So the guy that he fought and the guy that. And CM Punk himself, they both are getting released from the UFC.
Really?
Yes.
Does he go back to a wrestling ring?
I don't think so. Jaime, what do you think? Ed's researching.
Cody Rhodes has got to dethrone Kenny Omega as the leader of the Bullet Club, but somebody has to stand up to Cody Rhodes. So who should that be? I'm optimistic here.
So
Okay.
you think CM Punk will return?
Yes. Especially with the money involved for a wrestling return. And if he gets involved in a Bullet Club storyline, that would be big. But I'm not saying a WWE ring, but a wrestling ring in general, yes.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, All In is in a suburb of Chicago, and it makes sense if his UFC career is through. He's got enough time to get back into, wrestling shape to make an appearance.
Yeah.
He's never
No.
held the NWA championship. So it does make sense. And I owe Dan an apology. Apparently, Francis Scott Key wrote the Star Spangled Banner on September 13th, 1813, about the siege of Fort McHenry during the War of 1812. It wasn't McHenry. Oh, yeah, it was McHenry.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, is based in Baltimore, Maryland. So, I apologize. Dan, you were right. I was wrong. Mark this on the calendar. That's the only time this is ever going to happen.
Dude, you honestly had me scared because I'm like, wait, no. I was like, there's no way I'm wrong on this because this is like, as someone from Maryland and from Baltimore, like, we take pride in this. We scream
Yeah,
during the national anthem.
I was wrong. I apologize. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about before we schlep our own products, websites, and whatever, and get the hell out of here. How many of you guys know where SmackDown will be airing in October of 2019? I'll give you a hint. It's not the USA Network.
Fox Sports 1.
No, not Fox Sports
Is it going
1.
to Big Fox?
It's going to be the anchor of the Friday night lineup for the major television network, Fox. So,
Bad idea. Moving it to Fridays.
okay, now think about this real quick, Dan. Just think about it, okay? You're putting professional wrestling for the first time ever as a weekly episodic show. And I'm not counting, Saturday night's main event that NBC would run for a few weeks when there was no sports on TV. 52 weeks a year, every Friday. Fox, a network that used to be broadcast over the air. Not even on cable, over the air. Back when you could have antennas and not pay for cable and still pull in 4 channels. Fox was one of those channels.
You still can.
Well, you got to have the HD receiver
that's
now,
true.
and it's
My bad,
ridiculous.
yeah.
But still, one of the big, 5 networks? Wrestling is going to be on every Friday night. And it's not just that. This goes beyond that. SmackDown could move to 3 hours. They could keep the brand split, and you could see more of the big stars on SmackDown versus on Monday Night Raw, because SmackDown is now bringing in literally $1 billion. And you're going to see promotion on the Sunday football games. Both of them. You're going to see commercials for SmackDown. You're going to see Saturday afternoon baseball. Hockey, which Fox is making a play to get. The NHL. NASCAR races, which we all know there's a huge crossover audience there between wrestling fans and NASCAR fans. You're going to see
Hillbillies, man. They love cars that go fast, and they love people beating each other up.
They made a left turn. But you're going to see all of this. And you're going to see it to millions more than watch the USA Network. During Family Guy on Sunday nights, there's going to be ads for SmackDown. On Tuesday nights when they show whatever crap they show, there's going to be ads for SmackDown. Isn't American Idol still on television? Or The Voice or whatever they have on Fox?
Yeah, one of them is.
And it's on Fox. Going to be millions of people watch that show. And there's going to be ads for SmackDown.
Oh, you know what I was thinking of? Fox Sports 1 is going to have a weekly show dedicated talking about the WWE is what I was reading.
I wonder if it's going to be that. What show did they have that was like PTI, but it was for the network?
I don't remember.
That had like.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Was it Rosenberg and guests or something like that, and they just talk wrestling like it was PTI? That, you could probably put that on FS1. You know what? Let's bring back Velocity. Let's bring back Sunday Night Heat. I love that. Let's bring back Sunday Night Heat. Can we start a petition somewhere? Fox Sports 1, Sunday Night Heat.
Will NXT ever be on television?
No, it's too big of a moneymaker for the network. We haven't heard Jaime's opinion on this. I know it really doesn't affect you because, you're on the other side of the world and whatnot. How do you feel about all this, Jaime?
Well, from what you have said, from everything that you have said, I could only say 2 words: more opportunities.
Okay, fair enough.
I think this is the first time I'm ever going to say that. Ed, I think that's a good spot to end.
Fantastic. Let's do it then. All right. Dan, what are you doing now? Go promote whatever you're on.
So, I recently got my rig in, so I will be streaming live on Twitch probably starting next week. You guys can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/ddirect. Go give me a follow on there. If you want to see some gaming, you want to see me, you got questions, you want to talk about wrestling, you want to talk about basketball, you want to talk about life, and you want to know what's going on in yours, I can tell you. So come follow me there, and you might even see this show live on there every once in a while.
Oh, no.
Always.
You're going to. When we do it, Dan is going to Twitch it live. It's going to happen.
As long as Ed actually turns on a light in his house, I will do that.
Hey, you can see me. I'm fine. Besides, nobody wants to look at this.
Well, no argument there. And as always, follow me on Twitter at RealDirect.
Okay. Jaime?
At the Great JLA. Like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and visit vavel.com for more wrestling news. Be sure to go to the wrestling section. You would see Ed, me, and a bunch of lads working on wrestling stuff, and you will find this show there. So that's...
Did you just say lads? You've been hanging around with the British people too long. Like, for serious. Alright, anyway. As far as me, you can find me at Ed at the Journal. That's basically my account for my newspaper job where I work for the Journal and Noble County Leader out of Caldwell, Ohio. You can also find me on Amazon where you will see not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different books that I have written, including at least 1, maybe 3 more coming. But you can find all of them on Amazon. You can also find me at Babel USA. Real Sport, I think, still has some of my stuff. And, Dan's Mom's Dreams. All right. That's going to wrap it all. That's going to wrap it up for all of us. We don't know when we're going to get together next time, but when we do, we should be on Twitch, and we should be on here. Jaime's going to be the one to post this on Babel because, well, let's just be honest, I don't want to. So I'm going to find a way to get it to Jaime, and, I think it's going to do it for us. So if you're not down with this show, the people on it, or professional wrestling, Jaime has just 2 words for you.
Keep listening.